Send help. Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Oh, it feels so good to be back. So I was away for a few weeks purely for exams and, to preserve my sanity, but now I am back and I'm going to show you what I've been up to basically since I've been gone. This is the vlog of my exam journey, breakdown journey. So basically, yeah, I'm going to show you what kind of is going to happen over the next 10 days. So this is what's going to happen. It is Thursday now. On Monday my problem gets released, so it's kind of like PBL but it's for 48 hours rather than obviously like the week cycle. So we get the problem released on Monday, and then the EU exam is on Wednesday and my public exam is then on Friday. So the scenario that gets released on Monday will basically be the scenario for the exam, and I'm going to meet up with my firm, try and PBL it, think about what questions are going to come up in the Wednesday exam and then the Friday exam, and then obviously I have 48 hours to revise for EU, 48 hours to write for public. So it's Thursday now, so I also have a few days to kind of prep before that scenario comes out to get most of the basics down. So when the scenario comes out on Monday, it's pretty much just going to be like building on that. So yeah, so it's Thursday now. The plan is I want to do EU today and then EU tomorrow, Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday do public, and kind of ideally finish at a good time on Sunday so that I can like go over my mind, chill out, and then Monday at 9 AM when the scenario gets released, I am there, feeling alive. I know that's not probably going to happen. I know I'm going to be there at like 5 AM on Monday morning, just 6 coffees in, like sad. So I'm feeling kind of good for it. Obviously last year was a whole different kettle of fish. So we only had the one exam and we had the 48-hour period the same, but the exam was like, it was longer. I don't really remember how long it was because each exam this year is only an hour and a half, whereas last year, I want to say it was 3 hours, but I have no idea. And it was on contributory negligence, breach of confidence, and then the essay portion was all on like property law, and it was like, tell us what you think about property law this year. So yeah, so it's kind of like they split two because everyone moaned, which is good because we're gonna get like twice the amount of revision time this year, which I really appreciate. But last year literally I didn't do any revision until that 48-hour period, so it was tough. Somehow got a 2-1. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to put that here. I vlogged it obviously last year, so that'll be here. So I feel like me getting twice as much revision time and actually using a few days before the scenario gets released to revise should pay off. We will see. Anyway, so today is day 1, EU. The joy of EU law. Yeah, okay. Ta-da! So it is day 2 of revision. I'm about halfway through now. Yeah, that's the current state. We're working away. Eventually all of that's going to be covered, I fear. I'm almost done with EU, so this is the final little bit of my topic list. Basically I'm hoping just to fill this bit and then this bit and then this bit. Yeah, and then that'll be it for EU and I can move on to public law. So this is my setup. So I have all the PBLs and stuff that we did and what we did in each one and what I need to cover. And then I go on Law Trove because all the best EU books are on Law Trove. Just read it on here and then obviously like make my thingies, make my sheets and then stick them on the wall. So it is day 3, it is Saturday now. It's like 7 something in the morning, so it's quite early. Today I've started public. I'm like 3 sheets in. So I'm basically, what I want to cover is there's like a chapter on judicial review, access to it, remedies, then obviously there's a chapter for each of the grounds, and then a chapter on tribunals. So 5 chapters I want to do over the weekend. So I kind of want to get the first 3 done today, which is 100 pages, and then the second 2 tomorrow, which is 100 pages, so that should be okay. Every time I wake up though, I feel very accomplished with all this cracking off in the background, although public is looking very feeble, so that's the aim for today. Voila! I'm finally done. Like, look how good this looks. Look how pretty it looks. It took me like 4 days to do this. Please appreciate it. Okay, thank you. So today is Monday, it's like day 6 or whatever of this revision vlog diaries. The PBL problem gets released today, so the exam problem. I'm meeting up with my firm in like, I don't know, 15 minutes to go and PBL the problem and try and work out basically from the scenario what questions might come up in the exam. So then basically then I can just whittle all of this down, so it's just the things that I think are going to come up will remain on the wall. Yeah, so, the exam now is in 48 hours.
The Levin case. Okay. So it's case 53/81.
2007. 2007.
Under
Yeah.
one status.
Oh,
Are you actually on study drive?
This is erasable, isn't it?
It's like you get paid to upload notes.
So I'm back now from PBL. It's actually nice to see the firm because I feel like I haven't seen them in like weeks. But yeah, so what I've done is I've taken all the irrelevant ones down, worked out what it's on. So then I've written a list down of like the 4 elements to the first exam. So then I'm basically going to research each one of these a bit more in turn, draft an answer, memorise, which I've then turned into like a bit of a schedule. So I'm going to go to sleep. It's 4 p.m. now, so I'm going to go to sleep, wake up at like midnight, research it. Hopefully it'll take me until like 2 in the morning, not 6, but whatever. And then sleep again, memorise stuff, you know, work out, memorise stuff, sleep, yada, 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 yada. And then do the normative stuff, which is kind of what I'm worried about. The problem question stuff is fine because I feel like once you memorise the law, you just apply it to the scenario and praying like it was last year, that it was just, you know, what offences, you know, occur here, or advise the client or whatever. If it's a really, really broad question, then it's easy just to chuck loads of law in and apply it to the facts. So praying that it is broad, but then it's the normative stuff. Like last year we were given a journal article, so even though it wasn't that helpful, you kind of could gauge what the normative would be on, when now it's literally like your guess is as good as mine. I have no clue what it's on. Praying that it's on something obvious within the areas of law that we're doing within the problem question, but honestly with this law school you just never know. You just never know. Log 1, we're back for another day of hell. I'm actually slowly losing the will to live. Send help. Enjoy the messy desk. I'm so sorry to myself. Okay, time to memorise. So it's all contained in the directive of 2004/38. So Article 7 of this, it contains the right to reside. It's the right to have for more than 3 months. So you need to be a worker or self-employed. Okay, so I've just done a mock. This was like my mini plan. This is like the intro. Look at how awful my handwriting is. Like, that's how long it took me, which is worrying. Yep, page 1. It goes on a long time. Oh, no, we're still not done. Okay. I have just gotten back from my EU law exam, and boy, do I have a story for you. Editing me can confirm this is scandalous. So scandalous. Like, I don't actually even know where to begin with this, so yeah. So I went to West Campus, obviously. I went and sat my exam. I was in the room. I was feeling very like zen and ready for this EU exam. And then they were like, okay, boom, start the exam at 9. And then we all turned over the papers. And what did I read? I read, yeah, advise Juan in public law. And I was like, what exam is this? So it was meant to be an EU law exam, and it was a public law paper, the one that we were meant to sit on Friday. The stress of my existence in a split second, and then all hands just like shot up and the invigilators were like darting across the room. And then basically they like stopped the exam for us, and they were like, oh yeah, it appears that we've given you the wrong paper, like yeah. So they stopped the exam and we kind of just waited. It took them about half an hour to collect in the papers. Now what was annoying is that obviously people then knew that the first question would be kind of broad for EU, and basically they were using the half an hour time slot to write everything down for the EU exam. So there were a few people that basically in their answer booklet were like writing stuff down, and I saw them and I was like, nope, not on my watch that this is going to happen. So I remember calling an invigilator over, like I was that person that was like, I need to complain. I remember calling an invigilator over and was like, you need to take the booklets away from people because they're writing in them, and obviously that's unfair because they're going to get an extra half an hour exam time. And she literally turned around to me and was like, huh, I suppose so. I was like, yeah. So then they had to collect in all of the booklets, which took like, so all of this probably took like half an hour, 40 minutes. Then they handed out the second exam paper, but they kind of ran out midway, which was like, why hand out an exam if you haven't got enough? Like, you know what like 200-ish students looks like. Anyway, in the second lot, there were like, there's like 4 or 5 rows or something, and the few of us, like me and the row next to me, we didn't get any papers, but in the first few rows got papers. So like, they had to then be like, oh yeah, we'll get more exam papers, da-da-da. But then the guy on the mic, one of the senior invigilators, was like, okay, can you check whether you've got the right exam? So everyone turns over the paper, who have obviously a paper to look at. Like, some people got public again. So then it was like, loads of people put their hand up and was like, oh, you know, we've got public, da-da-da. However, the people that didn't get public and actually got the right exam the second time around, the EU exam, obviously saw the questions. Oh, tip of the iceberg, tip of the iceberg. Then it was stress, and basically the main invigilator guy was like running up and down the aisles trying to like phone our law department to be like, well, what are we supposed to do? Because obviously half the room hadn't got a paper. The half the room that did get a paper either got a public law paper for the second time, or they got the EU law paper and then saw what the questions were like in advance to the rest of the room, so unfair advantage. Yeah, so the guy running back and forth, trying to ring the department. Apparently he couldn't get a hold of the department for ages, so that was really frustrating. And then literally he was jumping on the mic like every 5 minutes, to the whole exam hall being like, I'm good, I think I've got information. 5 minutes later, I don't have any information. It was one of them that it was just, we were sitting there in this freezing cold room. Like, bear in mind, so I was wearing this jumper, a t-shirt underneath, and I was sitting there like shaking cold. It was so cold. Yeah, and like obviously like no food. We sat there in total for like, what, 2 hours before then starting an 1.5 hour exam. So it was like 3.5 hours in total in this bloody cold room. And when he finally got a hold of the department, we were then told that someone from the department was coming down. So we were like, oh, okay, someone from the department is going to come down. They're going to explain to us like what's going to happen, and we probably won't sit the exam today, but if we do, we'll at least be able to talk to someone before we do. Yeah, that didn't happen. So then what happened was, in the midst of the chaos of this guy like running up and down the aisles trying to get information from the department, us being told that someone from the department is going to come down, basically like half the cohort, so like easily 100 people, maybe more, just got up and went to the bathroom. And at first they were queuing, and I was like just literally out of the exam hall, and I was like, what is happening? It was just so impromptu. I was like, what's going on? It turns out everyone went on a bathroom break. But this is where the issue started. So the people that had seen the EU paper then were telling everybody else the questions, and they were sitting there in the bathrooms. And I mean, I remember hearing it being like, oh, what was the question? Or people saying, use this directive, use this case, use this, that and the other. But at this point, obviously, I didn't have the EU paper. I didn't know the questions. All I heard was people asking for the questions and exchanging like cases and treaties and stuff to use, which to me, obviously, without the question is not much use. But I remember sitting there like thinking, this is collusion at its finest. And I mean, there was an invigilator, but bear in mind, okay, there's probably like 60 students per toilet, one invigilator. It's like, yep, that's not gonna do anything. Then there were like allegations of people basically saying some people went to the cloakroom, some people went on their phones. You know, there was this one girl that in the midst of all of this, so she left, she was like, I'm not sitting it, left with her laptop bag, everything, came back half an hour later, having obviously seen the questions, came back and having, well, assumedly researched the questions, come back and start the exam. So, yeah. But that was like the gist of it, basically. It was very, very, very frustrating, to say the least. The most part was that we were kept in the dark forever, basically, it felt like. And then we all sat down, so we actually started the exam at 7 minutes to 11 rather than 9 a.m. So it was like 2 hours later. But what was annoying, like the thing that got me the most was the way they started the exam. So it was literally, they were talking to people, probably like quarter 2, they were saying, oh yeah, someone from the department's gonna come down, we'll let you know, we'll give you options, da-da-da-da-da. And then out of nowhere, he just jumps on the mic being like, right, so you can either sit this exam right now or you can leave. Waits for like 4 people to leave. And then he's like, let's start the exam. And all of us are like, what? Like, what's happening? Like, where was the warning? Also, starting it at 10:53. Could you not have waited till 11? Like, I just don't understand. And the worst part, in a way, was that the computer science people in the other half of the room felt really sorry for them. Like, they did get extra time. But imagine someone hopping on the mic the whole time, being like, just talking to half the room. That would be so distracting and so frustrating. We're trying to sit an exam. And yeah, like, so basically, we started the exam, like, out of nowhere. So it was just one of them things that I honestly spent the first 10-15 minutes of that exam sitting there trying to like get myself into the mindset of what I need to write, what the question's asking me, remembering everything that I'd revised, and I was sitting there like, what? Like, just trying to wrap my head around it all. It was just so annoying. Yeah, obviously then sat the exam. It finished like 2 hours later than it should have. It builds, this story does, because this is like the bit that, it was bad. It was very bad. So then when we finished the exam, someone from our department came. So the head of department, Caroline, came, and one of the professors, Richard, who was like in charge of the exam stuff, they came down, and we were all kind of like, where were you 2 hours ago? LMB is only a 10-minute, if that, bus ride away, and this took you 3.5 hours to get here. That's annoying. So yeah, they got there, basically, then they hung around to answer questions and explain like the options that we would have. They basically said that we would either use that exam mark and there would be leniency, whatever that means, or we can sit the exam next week, or we can sit it in August. So okay, in fairness, they gave us options, but the people that left that exam before like we actually sat it, obviously wouldn't have been given those options, so that's unfair. And the thing is, it's like when I inquired after the exam, was like, right, well, what's leniency doing then? How are you actually going to do it? They basically said that they're going to look at each like bracket, so the first, the 2-1, 2-2, da-da-da, and then assess whether people have done badly. If they have, they'll bump up the marks. If they haven't, then they won't. And I'm like, but you don't get it. Everyone's colluded and cheated on this. Everyone's been standing in the bathrooms for an hour being like, what case, what treaty, what question, blah, blah, blah. Some people use their phones. Some people went on laptops. You know what I mean? How are people going to do badly? Plus, not to mention, obviously, people have revised for this. And okay, it is a disruption, but people aren't going to freaking get, like, fails and 2-2s because of it. But at the same time, something needs to be acknowledged that we could have done a little bit worse because of the circumstances. And obviously that won't really be acknowledged because they're only really going to bump people up if everyone kind of drops. And I was just, I was so frustrated by it because it felt like whenever I was trying to voice my concerns to the head of law school, Caroline was just kind of like, oh, well, you know, I see your point, but, well, there's not much we can do. And it just felt like we were very much being shrugged off, very much, it was all being swept under the carpet. And the vibe that I honestly got was, you're kind of a bunch of kids, you're not going to kick up about it, you're not going to be bothered, it'll all be brushed under the carpet in a few days.
Which,
unsurprisingly is actually what happened, bar the few of us that are kind of annoyed about this and is actually complaining. So yeah, I guess Caroline kind of saw that. I don't want the hassle, let's just leave it. And to me, it was just offensive. And it's kind of just like on one breath they're saying, oh, the events of what's happened have been really challenging and we're really sorry and it shouldn't happen and it's outrageous, da 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 da. And on the other breath they're like, yeah, but we're not really going to do much about it and we're not really going to compensate you for it. And it's like, okay, so either if we all fail then we get bumped up but we're not going to because collusion, or we can resit it and that's then we're taking the risk, we have to resit, or we have to go through the hell of resitting for your error. I don't know, like to me it's just, it was very frustrating, it's still frustrating, it's one of them that I feel like they're gonna sort out more options hopefully. I don't know what's gonna happen with it, but it's just one of them things that I am very, very frustrated and I expected better, but you know, don't we always? So now I've got to just crack on with public law, because obviously we still have public law on Friday and we've lost like 2 hours, plus all the stress and stuff of it going into public law revision. So and you know what? The most annoying thing of this whole saga was that I scheduled an ASDA order for 12 and obviously this exam was meant to finish at 10:30, so I would have had ample time. And I had a plan of sitting in bed and eating donuts to like reward myself after the exam. And obviously I missed the order. So I came home to empty cupboards and it just built on my depression. Today's been a fun day. Okay, public law time. So it's sometime later now on Wednesday. I've eaten and I feel like lovely. I feel like I'm in a completely different mood to what I was earlier. So I thought I'd update you on where I'm at. So basically I've had a few hours off to like recoup, just get my head around it all of what happened earlier and where I'm going to go, like what I'm going to do going forward. So now I've reorganised my notes. So obviously I made my notes on public anyway. There we go. So what I've done is I've just organised them to what's relevant. So this is just judicial review generally. This is the ground of illegality, but only the few bits of it that are relevant. And then the main one is procedural impropriety ground, which, yep. I kind of need to do tribunals because the notes, let's be real, I haven't got any. So, and I kind of want to look into the ombudsman as well. So what I'm going to argue is I'm basically going to say, these are the grounds, tribunals versus JR. Tribunals is better because the remedies you can get are better, but also ombudsman if you fancy it. Yeah. So I kind of know what I want to say. I know how it's going to apply. I just need to, I kind of want to type all of that up because I did that for EU and I just know it felt better. It might seem like a waste of time, but I don't know, like I had a compulsion to do it for EU and I just feel like it worked for me, so I'm just going to keep going with that. And then basically I've got 2 here for normatives that were from the original board but I kind of think might come up for a normative. When I say might come up, I mean I'm praying they come up, It's the debate within JR that I just like love, whether proportionality should replace unreasonableness as like a ground. Anyway, that's like the inner nerd in me. I'm like, oh, it's so interesting. And I would love an essay on it. So yes, that's what I'm doing. So I redid my schedule. This is basically my life until Friday. However, I've got time, my exam's at 1:30 and obviously I'll be done by 6 a.m. So I'll have some downtime to just like go over stuff. And by going over stuff, I mean watch Grey's Anatomy because I've just got into that. So yep, that's where all my man hours are going. So yeah, right now I'm basically just going to have the night off really. I'm going to probably skim, like read my notes, think about it a bit more, have something to eat again, get an early night because it's like 8 o'clock now, so I want to be in bed for like 9:30. Yeah, until tomorrow. An actual summary of my life right now. Oh, wow, I look horrifically pale. So it's like 4 a.m, day of exam. My exam's at 1:30, so we've got ages. I've literally just woken up. So obviously yesterday, like Thursday, I made my notes for public. So basically wrote them all out from the wall, wrote them all out, but applied them more in written. So now I'm memorising it. So I had 6 pages, and then there's 2 pages for potential normatives that can come up. I am on page 5, so I'm kind of almost done. I got like a page and a half to go, if that. Yeah. So I'm feeling good. Basically what I want to do after this, so I want to memorise all the rest of this. I want to then write out a structure for how I'm going to answer the question. And then I want to do a mock exam, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I want to run through it and see how long it takes me and see if I miss anything out. So then I'm like more conscious to do it, actual for the real thing. Then I want to go back to sleep for a bit because obviously it's 4 now. I should have all of that hopefully done by about 6:30. Then I want to get up for about 11:30 so I can still get a good 5 hours sleep back. Yeah, and then wake up, do a final oral run through, going through all these 6 pages, which I'm just going to do in the shower when I'm getting ready. Yeah, and then breathe. Ta-da! Okay, so these are my finished notes that I need to memorise. The pressure is on with the camera on. Okay, so failure to comply with procedural requirements set out in statute or failure to act fairly. Natural justice rules are at the core of it, so that's the right to be heard and the rule against bias. Wow, that's depressing. So basically it's 1 o'clock now. I'm just about to leave to go to West Campus to go and sit the exam. This is literally the last exam I'm ever gonna do. I'm so excited. Thing is, I said that, but then, I don't know, like 4 days later it dawned on me that when I do a master's I'm probably gonna have to do exams, so the hell continues. Obviously this is public. I feel like good for it. The first question, which is going to be like the apply problems bit, I feel very comfortable on that, although I'm a bit like conscious that I might go over the time allocated for it. And then the essays, I have no idea what they're going to be. Whatever question they give, they're going to get a certain essay because there's only so much I can prep, whether it's related or not. That's the essay they're kind of going to get is the one I've prepped. But yeah, off we go. I'm just happy to be done. In 2 hours time I'm going to be done, like mad. So yeah, and then it's summer. Whew, look how nice it is as well. Off we go. I'm done.
It tastes like chocolate, but it's... Oh, that's a video.
To make you take your clothes off.